I'm training for an ultra marathon without any gels. Yes, you heard that right. Don't worry, I'm not reckless, I promise. It's just that I will be relying on everyday foods to fuel my runs. Hi, I'm Karishma, and in this video, I will be showing you 10 high carb food items that I have used during this ultra marathon training. Now, you might be thinking, why not just use gels, right? To be honest, gels don't really taste that good, and you can totally use them based on what your goals are. Since this is my first ultra marathon, I want to make sure that my gut is fully prepared for it. Basically, I am training my gut to handle everything. Also, this ultra marathon is happening in the peak of summer. And I would have used gels if I were, say, running a road marathon where I had a certain pace or a time goal that I had set for myself. But that's not the case for this ultra marathon because 50K for a first timer like me is a lot. And mind you, the longest distance I've ever raced is only a half marathon or 21.1 kilometers or 13 miles. So, this is definitely a big goal for me running the 50 kilometers, and hence, I don't want to rely on gels for this ultra marathon, but I would have totally done so if I were running a road marathon. I also personally believe that using everyday food items is a more sustainable practice for me personally, and this is for a few reasons. Number one being that gels are expensive, and I don't want to have that additional burden financially to procure more gels and then consume them. Also, they don't really taste good, as I mentioned before. Okay, without further ado, let's get into the 10 food items which are high in carb and that I have personally tested during my long runs. Remember that for runs longer than 75 minutes, it is recommended that an average person should consume between 30 to 60 grams of carbohydrates. This is dependent on your weight. Now, the first item that I would like to talk about is this applesauce. This one pouch of applesauce has about 16 grams of carbs. And so I usually pair this with another food item. Along with this applesauce, I would usually eat the Nature's Bakery bar. And this isn't sponsored, this is what is available to me. These bars have approximately 38 grams of carbs. So combining the applesauce and the bar gives me enough energy to go on for an hour. Okay, next in my rotation we have dates. So according to the information here, 3.5 dates will give you about 75 grams of carbs, which is a lot if you think about it. And so if you can stomach 3 dates in one go, you are set for an hour. That's what I do as well. I consume about 2 to 3 dates for the hour. So if you think about it, I'm actually set for 2 whole hours of running thanks to the applesauce, the Nature's bar, and these dates. Okay, next on my list is my home-baked banana bread. This weighs about 70 grams, this one block. So I portion it out, and one portion has approximately 30 to 35 grams of carbs. So this helps me for half an hour at least. So yeah, try and bake one maybe. The next item on my list are these honey-made crackers. They're delicious, by the way. So the label here says that 2 sheets will give you about 24 grams of carbs. And if you can eat the two long sheets, I can show you how they look. So 2 of these make up a serving size, and 2 of these sheets would give you 24 grams of carbs. And so what I usually do is I consume this along with a couple of dates. So then that sets me up for a whole hour. I try to think of it as an hourly thing because it's just easier to calculate. Next on my list is our humble banana. So, a medium to large banana will give you about 30 grams of carbs. So, if you were to consume two of these bananas, you can go on for an hour. So, try and think about what can help you last the next hour, because you will always have an aid station at your disposal, but it's between those distances. How do you train? And these are great options, especially for your training runs when you don't have access to an aid station. I also really like to pack these sandwiches, which are usually peanut butter and Nutella for me. And each of these blocks have about 35 grams of carbs. So if you can eat and run with them, they not only taste good but also give you the energy and the fuel to keep running. I use these on my first 30-kilometer long run that I did a few weeks ago, and I totally enjoyed them. I think the idea is that you have to train your gut so that whatever you eat, your stomach can easily digest. And this is important because on the race day, you don't want to try anything new. So if you've trained with it, you can, repeat that or replicate those same conditions during your actual race day. I also enjoy eating these gummy bears from Trader Joe's. They're organic, and this entire packet has about 60 grams of carbs. Also, you may have noticed that all the foods that I have highlighted thus far are sweet, and it can get too much to consume sweet stuff back to back. So, what I do is I add these chips to the rotation. These are flaxseed chips from Trader Joe's. On their label, you can get about 19 to 20 grams of carbs from a handful number of chips. So I think the serving size is about 7 chips. So what I would do is I would just double the portion size and meet my carb intake. And finally on our list is a sweet potato. A cup of sweet potato has about 30 grams of carbs. What I did was I baked the sweet potatoes and pan-seared them with a little bit of salt and pepper. And what that does is it offers you a nice little break from the sweet snacks that you've been consuming. These were the 10 food items which are high in carbs, and I wanted to share them with you. A key to remember here is that during your training runs, you will not be running for more than 5 hours. You can actually try a combination of some of these foods to carry with you during your long runs. I understand that it may feel like a lot of food to lug around on your back or in your vest during a long run, but what I usually do is I just make these small packets in a Ziploc, you can see, and I use my vest. I plan them by the hour. So hour 1 would be one bag, hour 2 would be another. So just 3 small Ziplocs like these, and how I try to concentrate the calorie intake, the carb intake, and then fuel my runs. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe to this channel. I will be documenting my journey as I take on my first ultramarathon and hopefully continue exploring endurance running in the long run.